everybody. My name is Hallow. How's everybody doing? It's been interesting the different ways people react to Valentine's Day. Um, I don't know. I think love is wonderful, and I don't know. It hasn't been something I've had a lot of lasting luck with or whatever. I don't know if luck is the right word, though. That seems to trivialize the whole situation. I have a practical edge to my personality, and then also I love orgasms and having fun and going out to shows and performing music and looking at other people's art and making my own and stuff. So there's like all these complicated variables for me on why I never really did get married or have a long-lasting relationship, because it's hard to juggle all those things, because I also have a really practical side to me. I've always been a person who's worked straight, quote-unquote, normal, quote-unquote jobs. I was blessed enough to fall into the field of working with people with intellectual disabilities, so I don't feel like I've totally sold my soul to the man. I took a lot of pride in making those kind of choices in my 20s. What life do I want to live? Because the way you choose to spend your time and the way you choose to work to earn your money to support yourself has a profound effect on your life path. And Jello Biafra was one of my I'm trying to think of the right word, mentor, you could say. Him and Lydia Lunch were probably the two most important influences to me in high school, and then things they said, and I didn't necessarily follow Jello religiously the rest of my life, but I have Lydia, and the things she said and the things he said in the 80s when I was following him regularly have just always stuck with me about how important it is. Lydia's thing is how important it is to follow your bliss and don't sit around and wait for opportunities to be handed to you, because that's really not reality. You have to go out and grab the world by the balls and do what you want to do and don't worry about it. And then Jello's big thing was vote with your dollar. If you're sick of corporate America, well, don't fucking support them. Support mom and pop businesses. Support small business, local business in your communities. And I've always tried to do that. And then the whole idea of working in social services and working for people with intellectual disabilities really has been very spiritually satisfying. Where like I said, I felt a peace in my soul my whole life that I didn't sell out to the man. And I don't look down on anybody that works for the man or whatever, because we all make our choices, and it is great to have big money. But oh my, it's fading out. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not working with a lot of light right now. I'm trying to go to sleep. So, yeah, sorry. I'm trying to go to sleep. I've got a lot of different thoughts. And then this is a free-form improv show, so it's always going to be like this. But, okay, so I think the last episode I had just come back from the cardiologist and was really happy, thought it was going to be good. And I'm not throwing it all out the window, but I'm really kind of annoyed or whatever. I don't know. he put me on Jardiance, and he just talked about urinary tract infections. I was going to say UTI, but sometimes I have to remember not everybody knows what the acronyms are for stuff. And then yeast infections. So I was like, oh, hell no. I don't want any of that shit. UTIs can fuck you up, man. And nobody wants a yeast infection. So that's all he really said. But then he had a side note. And I can't remember if he said it in conjunction with Jardiance or just in general. If I gain more than 3 pounds in a 2-day period to call them. And that's normal for CHF. You're supposed to weigh yourself every day when you have congestive heart failure because you always have to keep track of fluid retention because that puts strain on your heart, which can cause a shit ton of problems. I don't know if I'll be able to explain them all. I'm kind of tired, but anyway, for me, it was a hell fucking nightmare from hell. I fucked up. I didn't follow his instructions to the letter. Listen to me. I'm trying to make excuses. I didn't follow his fucking instructions at all. But I took the fucking Jardiance. But I had different things I've been working on. Like I take torsemide. So my previous doctor instructions were if you gain more than 5 pounds in 2 days, you can take an extra torsemide to help. And that it's worked great. It's been, that method has worked. So I told the new guy about it, and the cardiologist, and he didn't really want to hear it. And that's fine. He's the specialist. So what I'm pissed about is, does Jardiance make you fucking gain weight, y'all? Because I've been keep looking and reading it up, researching it, and I can't find anything that says that. And that's what's really scary and freaking me out. So sometimes in life, if you know something's not working for you, you're your only advocate. You have to speak up for yourself because you know your body, you know your routine, you know what's normal, what's fucking irregular as fuck. So all I can tell y'all is I'm not trying to hate on Jardiance. It's actually a diabetic medication. So what was explained to me was after working with the medication and having it be out in the general public for a while, doctors started to make a connection that it's beneficial to people with congestive heart failure. So I do not fucking have goddamn diabetes. Lots of people assume I do. Because if you're fat, you must have diabetes. But yeah, that's a funny thing that I'm really grateful for, because that would just be constant calculations. And I mean, you get to a point where you get in a routine and you start to know shit by heart, but having to keep track of my sodium is a lot in and of itself. And hidden sodium is everywhere, you guys. It has nothing to do, I'm not talking about putting salt on your food. I don't fucking do that. I've never fucking put salt on my food. Didn't grow up with salt on the food that much. I mean, Grammy probably just used it sparingly. Like, she did utilize salt and pepper, but sparingly on the salt and shit. Because she was a dietitian, was her first career. So I was raised by somebody who knew the cutting edge information of nutrition and the time frames. And believe me, it all changes through the years. What we believe is healthy, what we finally throw in the towel and admit is not healthy. But she always was cool. My grandma was cool in that she didn't give a shit about popular opinion. She was a science-based, facts-based lady. And I'm very grateful for that. So she, did her own research information. And so yeah, hidden sodium is everywhere, you guys. It's in everything. Literally, the only food that you can count on that's not going to be lots of sodium is desserts and sweets and shit. But everything else, like soda, a fucking can of soda has sodium in it. Like, it's insane how much sodium is in all of our shit. So, that's my killer. That's what fucks my body up. I've been in this journey since 2017. I've been hospitalized for my sodium and fluid retention getting out of control. They're pretty sure that's why I lost control of my legs in August of 2022 is when I hit rock bottom with my journey. I had been feeling bad for a while. That's the other benefit of it all. It doesn't happen overnight, but if you don't stay on it and adjust, it snowballs really quickly and fucks you up. But at that time, I just wasn't doing well for a lot of reasons, and I wasn't taking good care of myself. And I had gotten up. My bathroom's on one side of the house. I do live in a small house. So I went to the restroom, then I walked to the other side of the house to the kitchen, and I was standing in the kitchen maybe 5 minutes tops because I was cooking my go-to meal is you can get them frozen chicken strips. They do have sodium, but it's not bad. It's not terrible. You just got to be careful about what you're doing. When you're dealing with breadings and seasonings pre-done to the chicken, then yes, you're going to have a lot more sodium. But if you get some plain shit, it's not as bad. And then I put frozen vegetables and the chicken in a bowl and heat it in the microwave. And there's no sodium in frozen vegetables. And then I would get some ramen. I just don't use the seasoning packet. I just use plain ramen. And I can just eat it like that. And I'm satisfied. That's like my go-to, don't feel good, just need to eat kind of meal. So I was leaning on my kitchen counter, and then it was time to put the meal on my tray. I have a little rolly cart. I don't need to use it anymore at this point, but at that time in my life, I needed it. I wasn't even able to just carry a fucking plate of food from the kitchen to the living room. That's how bad this shit can get for me. And my legs felt like rubber. So I knew something was bad. I knew something bad was getting ready to go down. And I couldn't do nothing. I didn't know what to do about it. So I can't lean against the counter for the rest of my life. And then couldn't call anybody yet because I couldn't explain what was happening yet because I didn't know. I just knew something was weird. And then as soon as I put all my body weight on my legs, boom, they went out on me. That's funny timing. And I fucking fell to the ground. My big fucking ass, Godzilla ass, was a nice little pillow cushion, and then I hit my head on the back of the floor. But they weren't really worried about that. But they kept me over 2.5 weeks, and you guys, they drained 60 pounds of lymphatic fluid out of my body. Just to show you how bad. Oh my goodness, quit. Just to show you how bad it can really get. So, I don't know about Jardiance for everybody else, but Jardiance doesn't work for me. It does not work. It was scary as hell, and I didn't follow his instructions. And I ended up taking it for like a week, and I gained 1 to 2 pounds every goddamn day for the last week. So I had gotten to all this progress where I had lost a lot of weight the last few weeks. So I was really scared and pissed and frustrated to have it go so crazy so quick. And at first I thought maybe it was some food I had ate, but no, because I let it go for a week. And then literally, you guys, it's so crazy. The day that I stopped taking the Jardiance, I lost 7 pounds that day. And then I lost 3 pounds the other day. So I've started feeling like shit again. That's not good for your body to gain weight. To gain a lot of weight in a 1 week period and then just drop it off like that. That's not good. So, I don't know, you guys. this computer. The only light I have is computer light, and it's not working. Keeps going off. Come on now, come on. So yeah, I've been scared, and I fucked up, y'all. I should have called him last week, or called them. I don't know, y'all. But yeah, if they end up telling me Jardiance has nothing to do with it, I don't give a shit, because I know it fucked me up. That's all I know. Let's put it this way, I've never been in a situation like that where I consistently gained weight every fucking day for a week. Oh. And now I'm also... my tooth drama is still very real and very not resolved. The problem is I can't find an oral surgeon that will take a Medicaid client, and that's the safer route because of my congestive heart failure. And then it started flaring up again, hurting like a motherfucker. So I did antibiotics for a week, and it helped. But now I've got like the diarrhea antibiotic shit kicking in. Oh, you guys. It's just hard sometimes. It's hard sometimes. Come take a shit with me. I have no shame. Hold on. Okay, so yeah. I haven't done any shows because I felt horrible. And then sometimes when you feel really sick, I mean, that's an important time to talk about what's going on. I'm just a firm believer in talking about all of life. Good, bad. But yeah, when I dip out or disappear, a lot of times it's because I just feel I'm having like major depression, or I'm feeling really sick. And as you can see, I didn't plan this, but it's kind of good to do this. See how out of breath I get just walking to the bathroom. Would it take like 2 minutes or something to walk to the bathroom? So yeah, that was scary, y'all. And I isolated. That was the other thing I fucked up. I isolated. But I guess I feel like such a burden sometimes to my loved ones. Sorry. So yeah, I get tired of talking about how tired I am to people, to my loved ones. Like, not everybody knows all the day-to-day shit. My advocate, my soul sister, she's really the only person that I know that really knows what I've gone through. You don't want to burden people, because everybody's struggling with something. So you don't want to sometimes you just feel guilty or bad because you feel bad. But yeah, losing the weight helped a lot. So I'm learning, hopefully I'm learning an important thing that will stick in my head, because that's one of my biggest struggles. I fucking hate weighing myself. And it's all shit from childhood that I have to let go of. Weight and being a pretty young, thin woman is just so important in the place I live. And you're pretty worthless if you're fat, especially the city I live in. It's very, it's kind of like LA-ish in the sense of superficial shit is really important, and there's a lot of wealth in the town. So, sorry I'm grossing anybody out. So, like, weight has always been, like, an issue, a topic, like, way overdone. It's important, of course, but any topic is gonna be detrimental if it's the only thing you can talk about, or you're obsessed with it, and, there's so much enriched diversity that life in existence has to offer all of us. You're really selling yourself short if you fixate too much on anything, really. Balance, balance, balance. That's why I like Taoism, because they're always teaching us about balance and how important it is. So yeah, I'm getting a lot better about weighing, because I have to look at it as a medical issue, not a vanity issue. And ultimately, that is supposed to be why people are supposed to be thin and shit, because they care about their health. But I can only speak for America, where I live, and the city I grew up in. It was much more of a vanity issue, so you can look good in your little clothes, and the goal is to have a cute little figure so you can attract the right man to marry you, and you can go have your kids and the house and the life and the dogs and the cats and the parrots. So yeah, I never put a lot of stock in all that. I think and we're circling back to love. We'll end it like that. So yeah, this last week has sucked balls in the majorest of ways. But I'm just glad that, like I said, I don't know if there's some other variable, but to me, it was like a real black and white causation issue, because I started taking the Jardiance, and then I took it for like a week, and I gained every day. And the day I stopped, I lost 7 pounds. Oh, in a 24-hour period, y'all. And that's normal. That just shows you that's lymphatic fluid. Fat doesn't really work like that, but that's why they want you to weigh yourself every day. Because if you gain or lose weight overnight like that, then they know it's the fluid, not fat. So yeah, I never wanted the big wedding or the big house and the wealthy dude and the 2.5.356 children. I don't hate anybody else for wanting it, but it just wasn't my thing. I think it's just so important to have the right match. It's just because I came close to getting married, and I got to see what I didn't like about marriage. The compatibility issues got to be too great, where I was willing to live in his world, but he slowly exited out of mine. The more solid, I guess, he felt our relationship was. So also in that sense, we were very different people where I'm never going to be too solid about anything. I'm always going to be willing to reevaluate shit, especially if it's super unhealthy. So yeah, I remember just little things like trying to include him in my world, like hanging out with my friends and stuff. And I remember he really upset my soul brother because he's very much into social etiquette and very thoughtful and sensitive of other people's feelings and stuff. And so that only made sense that it would annoy him. But he just was really annoyed that my second fiance, didn't even try to interact with them or get to know them. And he kind of looked like he was just sitting there pouting the whole time he was hanging out. It was just really bizarre. And another example, at the time, I'd been seeing him a couple years. Around the same time, I found out about the Melody Inn in Indianapolis. It's my home away from home. It's my favorite club in Indiana. At the time, it was new to me though. And the reason I liked the Melody Inn when I first started going was it was like the best of both worlds for me. It reminded me of Chicago, things I'd experienced in Chicago, and it reminded me of Muncie. A great combination of big city, open-mindedness, but small town, tribal, family, community vibe. So we would go, and a lot of times he didn't want to go. So sometimes I would just go out and then come back to him when I was done with the show or whatever, and he'd be at home playing video games. But sometimes he would go. And I remember one night he went with me and he was wearing sandals. And this guy, I know him, I could name him by name, but I won't because he wasn't being mean. He wasn't trying to hurt anybody. I don't even know if he probably wouldn't even remember because it was something that shouldn't have been any big deal. But this drummer of a band was walking by us and he dropped a cymbal and it landed on my fiance's foot. And he was wearing sandals. Okay, you're already taking a chance when you do that. You can't get too upset if you get hurt. And he just had a little, I don't know how to say it. I want to say he had a little tantrum or breakdown, but that's not fair. He didn't yell or any crap like that. But he just totally took it in a really bad way. And we had to leave. And I just thought that was so ridiculous. That's just not me at all. If I trip on something or fall or whatever, I laugh. I ain't a party till somebody falls. It's a good story to tell because it kind of is illustrating what I'm trying to say of how we were not a good match and that would not have been a happy marriage. And then the final cut for me was we were together 2 years, broke up for a year, together 2 years. So we knew each other for a 5-year period, and I only met his mom one time. And supposedly he had grandparents he was close to, and his mom and shit. And then my family was all about inclusion. They're always about They were the. Yeah, that was a totally different time period. A couple key people in our family died, and after they died, everything fell apart. So this was in the before period, before things started falling apart. And I remember my aunt would be asking me, "Where's Bubba? Isn't he going to come?" And they get him Christmas presents. I always try to be inclusive to him. And he started boycotting all my family functions because he couldn't deal with my mom. My mom has no filter, and my mom talks. I think she does it in public more at home than at home, but maybe it's just me being sensitive, but she kind of has trouble with talking really loud sometimes. So I think it's anxiety based. But for somebody like him who doesn't want anybody to notice him, he he was a very introverted, hermit kind of personality, so it was mortifying to him, which was weird and silly and strange because he was dating a goth punk chick in fucking Indiana in the goddamn late 90s. So, honey, I hate to break it to you, but bitches are going to be looking at us because of the way I look. So, I don't know why he tripped so hard about my mom. It's not like we weren't blending in anywhere we went anyway because of the way I look and dress. But yeah, dudettes, whoever's I'm talking to, whoever's listening, he fucking used that petty ass reason to quit going to any of my family functions. So that's the other thing that sucks. How can you write off an entire group of people because one person, and she didn't like fight with him. It wasn't like that either. It would make sense if my mom had talked shit to him or said bad things to him or tried to engage in conflict with him, but she didn't really give him much attention at all, really. That's not her style. And then my mom, in general, doesn't require much from me, period. So as far as the day-to-day and the week-to-week, I never hear from her, and it's hard for me to get a hold of her. And I've tried so many times throughout my life to establish social activities with her, and she will do it initially, and then she'll just bail. She can't stay with something. So that's the other thing that made it bullshit for him to be so petty. You don't even have to really interact with her. She's not trying to interact with you. So yeah. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. It's what you make it, I guess, you know. I've been exploring different ways of looking at love. I met somebody in the end of 2022, and he really did help me. Talking with him just lit a fire in me, and I actually started making music and making art and doing shit that I hadn't done for over a decade. I was just very inspired and stimulated talking with this man, and of course it didn't, things went crazy weird. I'm not really even sure what went wrong because we didn't have like a fight per se or a conversation per se. But all of a sudden he's telling everybody he's polyamorous, and he never told me that. And it's weird because when I first started talking to him, I put everything out there. I'm bisexual. I've had open relationships. I'm not really a traditional gal. And for me, honestly, it's a lot more self-absorption on my part. I am willing to be in a committed relationship or in a relationship, whatever, with somebody. But I won't give up certain things just to have that in my life. So non-traditional forms of relationships appeal to me because I don't want someone to feel unsatisfied or unhappy because I can't give them all the time they need. If some people need more social time than others, and that's the truth. It's not putting anybody down. It's just the truth. Some of us are happy with our own company. I'm one of those fuckers. Other people need to have constant social stimulation. So if I fall in love with somebody like that, they're not going to be satisfied with me because I'm going to need my me time. I'm going to need time to make my art and music and do my thing. So if you want to have another relationship with somebody else, that's okay. That doesn't bother me per se. Just as long as everybody's upfront about everything. That's when I get pissed off, when people are lying to you. And because I've had men come to me and be like, okay, I want to be in a committed relationship with you. And that means you can't be with anybody either. And I stick to it. And then I find them cheating on my ass later. It's like, well, why did you set that shit up, fucker? You're the... Because a lot of it is about people want to be able to do other stuff, but they get real territorial and possessive of their lover. That's very bizarre to me. I'm very much about equality and everything in life, really. It, when I feel like things are not fair or equal, that's when I get shitty. So yeah. I went on a little too much. I gotta get up off this toilet before my legs fall asleep. But yeah, thanks for coming and take a shit with me. That was fun. Okay, you guys. I hope that solved the issue. I do not want to gain weight, you guys. I don't even give a shit about being the way I look and how people think of me. I don't like the way it feels. You feel so much better when you aren't having to carry all that weight on your ass walking around and doing shit. And I was on such a great trajectory, so that's why I'm just like totally deflated. But like I told you, when I got to talk to them, I've been putting it avoiding it. But I don't give a shit what he says. And he can fucking take me off his caseload. I don't give a shit. I'm not taking that fucking Jardiance ever again. That scared the shit out of me. And I don't... Hi! Martin, whenever I'm in the bathroom too long, Martin will come check on me. So I don't know if he's trying to... Here, let me see if I can be discreet with the camera. There, thank you. Hey, I didn't want to show them my undies. You checking on me, Martin? Were you wondering what the hell am I doing talking to myself in the bathroom? Or did you think I was talking to you, so you were like, what? What do you want? Nope. I'm not. Okay, hold on. I don't want to film my underwear. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. Okay. Agape love to all y'all.